All right, welcome back to the One Bar and Lupagus show. And the Minnesota Vikings finally did it. They made a big, splashy free agent signing, bringing in defensive tackle from the New York Giants, Dalvin Tomlinson. They signed him to a 2-year, $22 million deal. $20 million that is guaranteed, 16 fully guaranteed, $15 million signing bonus. To me, on the surface, this move was a little bit surprising. Tomlinson, mostly known as a run stuffer. You already got Michael Pierce on the roster. This seemed like a very situation where you're getting two very similar players. Looking a little bit closer, this guy has played some three tech. He's played some end in his day, so he can be that penetrator, that disruptor. The Vikings are going to line him up as that three tech. Again, not a true three technique, not really built to just be that disruptor. He can definitely stuff the run, and him and Pierce, they're in the middle, plug and running lanes. It'd be very, very difficult for offenses to run the ball in the Vikings. So definitely going to make sure their run defense is not the shit show it was in 2020. This dude's got 64 career starts, very, very experienced, 207 tackles, 21 tackles for a loss, and 8 sacks. He's had 3.5 sacks the last 2 seasons. So the Vikings make that big old splash on day one of free agency with Dalvin Tomlinson. I'm not sure, looking off top of my head, how this affects what they're going to be able to do the rest of free agency. But they're already talking to Adam Thielen about restructuring his deal, so we'll see how that shakes out. But you picture Dalvin Tomlinson next to Michael Pierce, middle of that Vikings defense. It makes you a little hard in your parts, a little perk up, nipples get a little erect. Because it's exciting. The Vikings run defense was so bad last year. Look at the game against the Saints where Alvin Kamara just tore us apart right up the middle every single time. That ain't going to happen in 2021. So very excited to see how that shakes out. Dalvin Tomlinson was not the only signing the Vikings made. They also re-signed offensive tackle Rashod Hill. That was a good move in my opinion. I just think he can give you versatility at both tackle positions, be a primary backup. And, there was rumblings on Twitter that maybe he's even their starting left tackle. God, I hope that is not the case. I do not like Rashod Hill in a starting role, but I do like him quite a bit coming off the bench and filling in spot duty. He has proven to do well in that situation. Looking at some other positions, the Vikings still need a guard or 2 guards. They still need defensive end, wide receiver, cornerback. So let's talk about some guys they've been linked to and if that player is still on the board or not as we look at the rest of kind of recapping day one of free agency here. So guard, the morning kicked off with some shit news for the Vikings with Kevin Zeitler, however you want to say it, signing with the Baltimore Ravens. It didn't get much better earlier or later in the day. Joe Thuney signed a big deal with Kansas City, which just showed that he was never going to be in the Vikings price range. I think he got like $40 million guaranteed. So, those guys really affordable for the Vikings, and they're both with new homes, but there is still some guys left. Some players are still out there. Michael Schofield, a veteran who could be found fairly cheap. Forrest Lamp, kind of that guy who never really has put it all together yet. He's had some injury issues. He's still out there. Trey Turner, Gabe Jackson, Nick Easton. Some of these guys might have question marks, but there's no question that any of them would be starting for the Vikings if they were signed as a free agent. Defensive end, the Vikings were rumored to be showing interest in a couple of guys, Carl Lawson from the Cincinnati Bengals and Trey Hendrickson from the Saints. They missed out on both as Lawson signed with the Jets and Hendrickson moved over to Cincinnati. Again, there's still some options out there for the Vikings if they want to add a veteran defensive end. Carlos Dunlap, Justin Houston, Ryan Kerrigan, Everson Griffin, just to name a few. Again, none of those guys scream super expensive, but we'll see what happens. Again, with the Thompson move, I'm not sure how much room they have. All that affects the cap space immediately here. Wide receiver, the Vikings have shown interest in Keelan Cole. He has not signed with anyone yet, so that's still a possibility for all your Keelan Cole fans out there. And a couple other guys in the secondary, Shaq Griffin, Vikings rumored to be showing interest in him. Still fairly young. I think he's like 28. You put him maybe on the outside, bump Jeff Gladney to the nickel. It looks pretty damn good to me. And then also safety Will Parks, the Vikings have shown interest in, who is still out there. They wanted this guy last year, something about Will Parks, the way they picture him fitting in this defensive backfield. We'll see. Again, Adam Thielen may be going to restructure. Who knows if they're going to end up restructuring Harrison Smith or Daniel Hunter to free up some more cap space as well. Definitely some guys out there who could still help this team. But again, the big news is Vikings signing Dalvin Tomlinson to a 2-year deal. Good luck running against the Vikings next year, because it just ain't gonna happen. Nowhere to go with those two monsters in the middle. So that is your day one of free agency recap. Again, the Vikings kind of capped it off with the big old sign of Dalvin Tomlinson. So order those Tomlinson jerseys. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun seeing those two monsters stuff and clog running lanes like a Sunday morning dump. All right. That's it, guys. We'll see what day two brings. I can't wait. So yeah, we got now that we have one new Viking, one Viking returning, and also know that you should always keep your skull in your hole. All right, well, I was putting my skull in my hole. I saw the Vikings made another signing. They just signed linebacker Nick Vigil to a 1-year deal. Vigil, he has been a productive linebacker in his career, 345 tackles, 15 tackles for a loss. He's 6'2", 235 pounds. He's played some inside. He's played some outside. The Vikings needed some linebacker depth. This move makes sense. I'm surprised it was a day one free agency kind of signing. This does not bode well for the future Todd Davis coming back to the team. But Nick Vigil, he gives you some depth, and now you kind of flesh out your linebacking core with Anthony Barr coming back, Eric Kendricks, and then you got Troy Dye, Nick Vigil there. Blake Lynch even, I think, may have a spot on the team. So right now, linebacker position's looking pretty well as you head toward the draft. I don't know if they have to draft anybody or not. We'll see what happens there. It all depends how everything shakes out. If the value is too good, they may still take somebody or take somebody late. But, Nick Vigil just a season ago played 15 games for the Chargers. He had 2 sacks, 29 solo tackles. He forced a fumble. So probably gives you some special teams ability as well. He is 27 years old, so still fairly young. Not a bad signing, really, as a depth piece, as a backup guy, special teamer. I'm all aboard the Nick Vigil train. Choo-choo. Keep your skull in your hole.